Okay, this is our table saw. And on the table saw in our wood shop, we use this tool to cut boards to how wide we want them. If this is a 3.5 inch wide board, and I want it to be 3 inches wide, we would use the table saw. We don't cut the boards how long we want them. We don't cut them shorter, we cut them how wide we want them. On the table saw, there's some parts you'll need to be familiar with. This is the on and off switch. Green turns it on, red turns it off. This is the hand wheel that raises and lowers the blades. If you loosen that knob up in the center, you can raise the blade and lower the blade. You always want the blade about 1/4 of an inch above the thickness of your piece of wood. This is the fence, which if you raise the handle, you can slide this back and forth along here to set the fence, the distance away from the blade for how wide you want your board. There's a tape measure on here, and there's a little guide with a scratched line in the center of it that tells you how wide you're going to make a cut. So in this case, we would want a board 3.25 inches wide, so we would set that to 3 1/4. This is the blade that spins towards you, so if there were any problem where you stick a piece of wood in there and let go of it, it's going to come flying right back at you. These are blade guides that will be down beside the blade anytime you're making a cut here. And these fingers right here are called anti-kickback pawls. And those are designed to dig into your board. If your board wanted to slam back on you, hopefully those will dig into your board and prevent an accident. You can't guarantee they're going to work though. The blade guards go down and place over the blades. We'll set this fence to the width that we want our board to come out. And in this case, we're going to go to 3 1/4 inches. Actually, 3 inches. Anytime you're cutting less than a 4-inch wide cut here, you have to use a push stick. We'll put this on our board, hook it onto the back, and we'll use that to push the wood through the blades because we don't want to get our fingers any closer than 4 inches to these blades. We're cutting a little bit narrower cut, and we need a skinnier push stick. We have thinner ones here at the table also. Alright, so with the fence set at 3 inches, lock the handle down. This board should have one perfectly flat jointed edge from the joiner. We'll always joint one edge flat before we come to the table saw. And this one's nice and flat. That's going to go against the fence. Since I know I'm going to use a push stick, I'll put that in place before I start my cut and turn the saw off. As I cut here, I'm going to keep this board flat against that fence to start the cut. I'm going to push it against the fence. I'm going to get a hold of my push stick. I'm going to feed this into the blade. Get my left hand out of the way. I'm going to push this board completely beyond the blades and scoot it out onto that table. Scrap piece of wood that's left off, I'm going to pull from that end, never push it away by the blades. And this is what it looks like. This end and pull a scrap piece of wood out of here so that it's away from the blades. Now my board is exactly the width I want, and I don't have to do anything else to the width of the board. It's all done.